Good evening, Peter Vroom, professional Vedic meditation teacher, or as I sometimes like to call myself, human experience engineer with a resolute mind. And today I'm going to talk very briefly about how to avoid jet lag. And this works with almost 100% effectiveness. Basically, what we want to do is we want to line up our meditation so that it fits within the sleep and awake time of our destination. So if we're taking off somewhere and it is 10 a.m. at the destination when we take off from where we leave, then we won't meditate straight away. Take two. So basically what we want to do is we want to time our meditations with sleep time at the destination. So if we take off at 10 a.m. where we are, but it's 6 p.m. at the destination and it's a 14-hour flight, for example, then what is a good idea is if we give it a couple of hours, because it is 6 p.m. at the destination, so we give it till about 8, 9, maybe 10 o'clock, a few hours of doing stuff, and then we meditate. And what we do is we just meditate until sleep comes, and if sleep comes we fall asleep, and then if we wake up we continue meditating. So there's no 20-minute limitation here. In fact, what we want to do is meditate for the rest of the flight. For example, if we're on a flight that's going to arrive at 6 a.m., then I'll meditate for pretty much the good period, the whole flight. What I find is that when I get to the other end, because I'm flying cattle class, I'm not flying first class, I've been sitting up the whole time, so I'm not 100%, but I'm close to 100%, say 95%. I'm full of energy and ready to go and take on the day. And then when the night comes at my destination, I'm ready to fall asleep as well. Now, there have been a couple of times when I still did get jet lag. One of them was taking the red eye from LA across to Miami to teach a meditation course there, and my wonderful little child was still a baby then, and the flight was uncomfortable for her. This was a red eye, which means overnight, and she was crying a good portion of the way. So I was up at the back of the plane holding her and all of that sort of stuff, trying to help her through the flight. So I didn't get any sleep or meditation during that flight, and it took me a good couple of days to kind of recover from that when I got to the other end. Another time when I did get jet lag was traveling from Sydney to New York to teach a course, and total travel time was about 24 hours. And what had happened was I got pushed into a time zone where basically getting up would naturally happen at 11 a.m. And so it took me a couple of days just to push myself back into getting up earlier, like 6, 7 a.m. in the morning. So if we're on a flight that's say 8 hours and we're taking off and it's 10 a.m. at our destination, whatever time it is, we're at the departure, it doesn't matter, it's the destination time that we're concerned with. If at the destination it's going to be it's 10 a.m. when we take off and it's going to be 6 p.m. when we land, we don't want to do too much meditation, because if we do, we're going to be so deeply rested when we get to the other end, we're going to struggle to sleep. So what we'll do is we'll meditate for the first couple of hours of the flight. That is, meditate and sleep. So we meditate, and when sleep comes, we let sleep come, which of course we do in any meditation anyway. The difference is that when we wake up again, we continue meditating beyond the 20 minutes. The reason why it's okay to meditate on a plane for longer than 20 minutes, a couple of reasons is, one, we can't make big decisions. We can't do much anyway. We're stuck on the plane. The pilot is looking after everything for us. So that's one reason. And the other reason is we're up at 30, 40,000 feet in a tiny little cylinder that's moving through the air way faster than the body has evolved to move. And there's a lot of very stressed people in there breathing their stress hormones out into the air. And even though airplanes have good systems to clean the air, you're still taking in other people's stress around you. So what that means is when you meditate, you're processing a lot of extra stress as you do so. Now, it's good for you, and it's also good for the other people on the plane. So it's not a bad thing to do. So say we're taking off on a 2-hour flight. Say we're flying up the country somewhere and there's not going to be a time zone change. We can just meditate for 20 minutes if we want and then get on with work. What if we are going to land at 3 a.m. at the destination? Well, again, just like landing at 6 a.m., what we want to do is meditate for the second part of that flight. Meditate and sleep. So we might start meditating at, say, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at the destination time, and we just meditate and sleep and so on. It's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Now, if someone wants to pass us and get out past our seat to go to the bathroom or something like that, we just let them pass and then continue meditating, sleeping. If food comes and we feel like eating, we just eat the food and so on, and then we allow ourselves to drift back to sleep. Now, if we are arriving at, say, 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., what we can do is for the last couple of hours of the flight is we can start doing stuff that requires mental activity. I do recommend against doing anything that requires too much mental activity when on a long flight, unless it coincides with the destination daytime, and that will be the last part of the flight. That is, say you're taking off and it's 3 p.m. at the destination. I recommend against getting lots of work done because what's going to happen is you're going to end up meditating and sleeping, and we don't want to excite ourselves too much because we'll just have to undo it. Flying through the air at that speed, almost Mach 1, say Mach 0.8, 0.9, is already pretty tough on the body. So armed with this information, meditators, Vedic meditators that is, of course I'm always talking about Vedic meditation. Other meditations don't get the same deep level of rest, 2 to 5 times deeper than sleep. So that's a totally different kettle of fish. So armed with this information, you should be able to get by now without having any jet lag in the future.